Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel, coming to you from the Bend at Sugar River, a new deli located on Lower Main Street in Sunapee. And I'm now joined by Annie Montgomery, one of the co-owners here. Hi, Annie.
Hi, Abby.
This is the place to be.
It sure is.
We look relaxed. We look happy. Tell us about your entire vision to make the Bend at Sugar River come to be.
It was a fluke. But we just knew that Sunapee needed a full year, fully opened all year food establishment.
Yes.
And we are not really a restaurant, we're a grab and go kind of deli, but we do have this fabulous patio.
I'd say. This is fantastic.
And there's plenty of places to eat out here, a few places inside.
Sure.
But I just think Sunapee needed this, pastries and good food and great sandwiches and take-home dinners was very important because nobody was doing that in Sunapee either.
Tell us exactly where the Bend is located.
So the Bend is on Lower Main Street in the lower village of Sunapee, which is on the west side of Route 11.
Yes.
And it's about half a mile down from Route 11.
And this is a bit of a historic area.
It's a very historic area. There were 9 mills, and it was a really thriving area. And the wonderful state of New Hampshire put on Route 11,
yeah,
and sort of
divided
the two halves of the village. And I think our goal is to revitalize the lower village.
Yeah.
It was so thriving for so long, and now we want it to be that again. Yeah.
And you did a lot of research to get to here. You visited different delis and tasted different menus, and
we did.
And you kind of went on a New England tour to kind of see what did we like.
We started in Maine, and we just kept stopping all the way between Portland and Sunapee.
Amazing.
And seeing different delis.
And Mother Nature has given us a flowing Sugar River due to some rain.
Well, I'm hoping the cameras can see how overflowing it is, but hopefully we don't have any water in bad places.
Yes, what a spot though to sit here and kind of enjoy the Sugar River and a nice meal. Talk about the concept. I mean, you've been open almost a year, coming up, and talk about what you brought into the menu and different sort of lines that you brought in.
Well, my daughter-in-law, who was very into foods and grocery stores, really launched the Bend.
Sure.
And she knew a lot about different foods, and my kids are big foodies.
Yep.
And everybody sort of said, well, we don't want a regular old deli sandwich. We want it a little bit different, a little bit unusual. And so we did. We got like a BLT has different things on it. It's not just a BLT. So that's sort of the concept. And then the concept of the sandwiches was also, let's come up with some really cool names.
I love the names.
Yeah, so we have Win Hill, a very important road in Sunapee.
Yes, right up the street.
We have the Parlin, which reflects the Parlin Field in Newport that we love.
Sun Bowl salad is one after the Sun Bowl, at Mount Sunapee. Yeah. Isn't there one after Aerosmith too? Yeah, you got to do a nod to Aerosmith.
Yes, and what's that? The something Sweet Emotion.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. And then a lot of lines that you brought in for sort of things to go with your sandwich or your salad, different foods and drinks and chips and all that. Really
not the run of the mill.
Yeah.
Go into a convenience store and come out with a Coke.
Right.
You don't do that here. We're trying to be a little more healthy than items with a lot of sugar.
Sure. And making sure it's healthy.
Yeah. And so we've got a really interesting line of products.
Staff was also important to you, giving people jobs in town in your year-round operation. So now you have year-round employment, but it was important to you to make sure that you were staffing it with local people that knew of the area and knew people as familiar faces as they walked in.
Yes, yeah, and everybody makes friends all the time around here. It's sort of a gathering spot.
It is. Yeah. It's a perfect spot. Now you have this wonderful patio where it can be a perfect gathering spot. What is the hope for the Bend down the road?
We're hoping to keep this going and maybe add a few things to the menu.
Yep.
Not sure, but we would maybe get into a little bit more catering.
Okay.
In the area.
Yeah.
especially with the summer crowds on the lake.
Yes.
And hoping that we can help them with platters of food.
Yeah, here's a platter of sandwiches. You don't have to think about lunch today. Right. I expect everybody to come and sit here at least once this summer. I mean,
they must, because
so peaceful.
It is so lovely, and sit by the river's edge.
Let's now join Annie and Chris for a stroll through the deli.
We salvaged the beams, as you can see around. You can also see, I call it my history wall, and my history wall talks a little bit about the lower village. Shows pictures of the old buildings and my favorite part of the lilacs, which unfortunately we didn't save enough of. And then if you turn and see this wall, this is still part of the whole history wall, and that was the crutch and rake factory. And so I tried to have photos of the many things in the lower village. And this is an actual rake from the rake factory that you can see.
One of the comical things was, as the site foreman in the big excavator was starting to demolish the barn, it was early January, about 3 years ago, and Annie went rushing out and said, "I want to save those windows." And he barely knew us. But he said, "Are you crazy, lady? I can get you some new ones."
I'll get you new windows.
Annie said, "I want those." And when people come in, they are enthralled that we preserved so much of the history. And then this was a very important thing to Annie, to have a cozy spot. And she wanted essentially a wood stove. It's propane-fired wood stove. It's a highly sought-after seating area. I think that it's very thoughtfully curated selection of country store items, a really nice selection of cheeses, and then we have, for off-premise consumption, wine and beer and non-alcoholic beer, and then a very interesting variety of chips and crackers, but unlike one might find in the typical convenience store. We try to partner with local farmers and vendors and help to promote their products as well. So we have sides, we have entrees, and we have take-home dinners.
I think a lot of our marketing was trying to, in the winter at least, is gearing toward the skiers, saying, you don't want to cook tonight when you get home, do you?
Right. And then now for boating, come summer, you can grab and pack a bag.
And what we're really working on, and from a marketing standpoint, if people are anticipating company for the weekend, a couple of days ahead of time, they can just go online on our website, and they'll have a whole menu from which they can select platters and sandwiches and things like that. In January, we were very thrilled to be awarded the Rookie Business of the Year by the Lake Sunapee Region Chamber of Commerce. And that's been a really fun recognition. And now in April, Business NH magazine ran a feature article on us, and a couple weeks ago, New Hampshire magazine, in their May issue, The Best of the Granite State, in the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, identified us as one of the best places to eat in this region. So all of that is just really edifying for us. We're getting known, and we seem to continue to get very positive word of mouth, and that's so important for a new business.
Definitely. Yeah. When we come back, I'll catch up with Kathy Raymond and bring a wrap of the 2025 Women Who Make a Difference luncheon, highlighted by this year's winners. Stay with us on Your Yankee Chronicle to learn more about where you too could help underwrite our show. For more information, contact us at ycnnow.com.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating.